Hello and welcome to this tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to record your player's movement and then play it back at a later time. You might see this functionality in stuff like Super Meat Boy. So let me give you an example of what we're going to have. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to just jump around. I'll do circles around here and I'll try and end up on there. Press down. Now if I close this, reopen it again, you'll see that it's worked. So let's get into it. I'll move this over there. What I want you to do is start a new project. I'm going to be having a self-made one here, so you can see we've got some static bodies which will act as the floor. We've got a background, I've locked it so I can't touch it, and we've got a player. So if I open the player controller up, it's pretty much, if you follow my polished platform controller, it's the same principle as that. You could actually use the same code if you wanted to do it that way. And what you need is a collision shape, you need animation, and I've got the animation in here. This project will be up on GitHub like all of them. And we've got the ground ray checking for the ground. So we'll open it up and you'll just see that it's really simple. It's just move left, right and jump, that's it. So let's get into it. In your object you want to record. I'm just going to use count. We need a dictionary, and this dictionary is going to be saved in the JSON. And this is basically going to save our counter, which will go here. It will save our animation, what we're currently playing as, so is it run, idle, jump, our global position, and which direction we're facing. False is facing right, true is facing left. There's no ready in this, so I'm going to put one in, but if you already have ready in your object you want to record, just put this in here. And what's going to happen is we're going to check to see if a file exists in our ghost directory here. If one does exist, then we know that we're going to load in a player ghost, which I'll show in a second. Else we're not going to load one in, because obviously if you've got no recorded data, we don't want to have a ghost just standing there doing nothing. This will instigate the ghost, and then we'll just add it. And I've used a call defer here. It's just to make sure this is completed before this is then added. And then what we're going to do is put in the record. So I'll put it all bunched together here. And what this is going to do is we're going to call this all the time. Let's just put that in here. So the physics, it's got to go in the physics process as well. Make sure it's in the physics and not in the process. And what's going to happen is we're going to increase the counter, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write in our data into the dictionary we just defined as a save data, which is here. And what that's going to do is, as I previously said, it's going to do a count. It's going to tell us what our animation is, what our global is, and what our flip is. Now you can imagine if you've got a ghost, you just run through the dictionary in order, and it'll do the moves in order as you save them. And then this is really raw. You could do this at the end of level, but I'm just saying, hey, if you press down on your keyboard, you save this dictionary. There's better ways of doing it, but I'm just doing it for this tutorial like this. Let's save that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make our ghost object here. And what I've done for this ghost object is I've just used a kinematic body. I've used animated sprite. You could just copy the one from the player, make sure that it all matches, else this wouldn't work obviously. So this is exactly the same as the player. And I've got a collision shape now. I've removed the collision shape by disabling it. And the reason I've done that is that you don't want your ghost colliding with your player, for example. Say if you're racing against your ghost, you wouldn't want them to collide. Or maybe you do, I don't know, but for this example we don't. And I've just done some modulate stuff, just to make him look more like a ghost, I guess. What we're going to do is we're going to attach a script to the ghost. And then what we're going to do is we'll define our variables. And what this is we're defining a dictionary. We've got a counter, so you can already see how this is going to go. And we want to reference the animated node, just so we can set it in code. Now we're going to add in something called load file. And what this is going to do is it's going to check our ghost directory. It's going to get the current scene, which in this case is called main. Then I'll put a JSON prefix at the end. Now the reason I've done it this way is that you could have multiple levels, and then for each level it would automatically know which JSON file to open, which I think is quite a clever way of doing it. So you could have like level 1, level 2, level 3, and it'll just be called JSON level 1 JSON, level 2 JSON, etc. Now what we're going to do is ready, and this is just going to call this function, and I'm just going to, in fact for this tutorial I'm just going to remove because we don't need to see that. Save that. Now I'm going to add in physics process, and you'll notice that it's got a function called get recording. So we'll put get recording in, and what this is going to do is it's going to get the JSON file and it's just going to read through it, and then it's going to check that if there's left, right and jump, what's our global and what way we're facing, and what we'll do is it will update the animation. As you can see here, it'll update our global, and it'll also update our direction, which way we're facing. Now I've used a string to var here to convert a string into a vector 2. That's quite, that was new to me, but it's something good, worth learning. Now we're going to test to see if this works. So when we first press play, you'll notice that there's no ghost, because obviously there's not a file there to have a ghost. If we put a ghost in, it'd be looking for a file that doesn't exist. Now what I'm going to do is press down, and I'm going to close it and reopen it. And there we are. So another thing what you could do with this is you don't have to record the whole level. You could do a tutorial, so you could have something here and you could and then you just jump like this, and what would happen is you would record that action, and when the player triggers it, it comes up as a tutorial, hey, jump from here to here, and it just looks like a really nice clean way of doing it without having to do it in code. So yeah, if you have any more questions, or if you'd like me to elaborate further, please let me know. If you've got any more ideas for tutorials, of course, let me know, and this will be up on GitHub if you want it. Thanks very much for stopping by.